that many sessions have been done where we have actually a background of what IoT is all about and what AI, ML, and how they are integrating. So I'm going to particularly discuss how to implement certain IoT projects using one of the using 2, 3 boards that we have under Texas Instruments. Actually, I'm working as head of the department at Imperial College of Engineering, Wagholi, Pune, and we have a Texas Instruments Innovation Center since 2017 at our place, which has been doing very well. And we have not only trained our students, but students from other colleges, staff during the online phase also, and also some of the industry persons. So we have certain boards which we can use under this particular Texas Instruments, and we can actually implement certain projects of IoT which are there. So I'll be focusing on these projects and trying to explain you. And I've arranged a setup. I hope it all works fine. And I am able to show you the outputs and see how the things are working. So briefly, I'll be first of all covering these boards. What are these boards all about? TIVA C, CC3100, CC3200, and then your how to implement the projects using the same. Okay. My slides are not changing. Just a second, so I'll share again. Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. So this is TIVA board. You can see the photo of the TIVA board. Just a second. I will log on from the phone right now. When I need the phone, I'll log at that time. Just a second. Yeah. So this is the TIVA board that we are talking about. And this is your ARM Cortex board, which is there. And this board, we can see there is a processor at the center. This is the main processor. Basically, Texas Instruments, all the boards, they consist of the board which are there. And this part is the emulator part. So apart from this, actually, basically in the workshops, we start from the MSP 430 boards, which are very similar to your Arduino boards. And there also we are having a board and we are having the emulator on that. So this is the board that we talk about, and this is called as TIVA C series Launchpad. Most of the Texas Instrument boards, they are called as Launchpad because they have given that particular tagline to this. Now these are the pins that you can see which have been labeled over here. And these are actually the pinouts. So these pins, we'll see in the further diagrams that they have been taken out of the board. So we can actually mount another board on the top of this board also, and we can give it the IoT capability. So actually this session needs that you must be having certain background knowledge from the microcontroller, because I cannot go into that much detail being in 1 hour. I'm trying to convert, go to the higher end. So this is the emulator and the board part. Coming to the board, actually this is called as TM4C 123G Launchpad Evaluation Kit. It is a low-cost evaluation platform for ARM Cortex M4 F based microcontrollers. So this is the series of microcontrollers that we are talking about from Texas Instruments. Now the design of this particular launchpad, that is TM4C123G launchpad, this highlights this particular microcontroller, that is TM4C123GH6PM, with a USB 2.0 device interface and a hibernation module. So this is having a USB interface, and we are going to use that for the same. So basically this talks about which is the main controller in the board. Now, this also has some programmable user buttons, which we are having on the board, and also an RGB LED for custom application. So you'll not be able, these are micro LEDs which are present on the board, and we can use it for certain applications directly. And the headers that I've told you, basically the stackable headers, which we are talking, these particular headers over here, these are your headers where you can actually mount something. So this stackable headers of the TMC4C123G Launchpad Booster Pack, this interface makes it easy and simple to expand the functionality of the TMC 4C123G launchpad. So you can add the board on the top of this. So we'll be seeing an example wherein we are going to actually interface these two things together, and then we'll see how the capability is going to increase when interfacing to other peripherals with Texas Instruments microcontroller booster pack. Now, some of the features, just to have an idea, we'll see here. This is your ARM Cortex M4, as I told you. This is a high performance microcontroller with 80 megahertz 32-bit ARM Cortex M4 based microcontrollers. It has 256 KB flash, 32 KB static RAM, and your EEPROM, which is there. It has two controller area networks module, which are there. It has USB 2.0 host device capability, dual 12-bit 2 MPS ADCs, which are there, and PWMs like this. It has an onboard in-circuit debug interface, and you have a USB where you can plug in the things and do that. So these are some of the features which are available. Now, see, one thing I like to add over here is that the Texas Instruments see, we can do some of the things very nicely with Arduino also. But Texas Instruments, it is a brand. And why we prefer the Texas Instruments board is that because it is an industry compatible board, wherein you can actually develop the projects as per the industry standards. And these are very rigid. And if you develop a project, for example, using your MSP 430, which is another Texas Instruments board, then in that particular case, you can actually have a project which can last for 7 to 8 years without any sort of battery backup. So this kind of products can be developed, and that is why TI is working on these boards. And being the name so familiar, that is why these boards are so much rigid. And when it comes to actual product development in industry, they actually give a lot of applications and projects which are much durable. So this is a side view, you can say. Now you can see here the pinouts which are coming over here, right? And this is the main control button switches which are used. Now here through this USB cable, we are going to connect it, right? And to program the device. So just imagine this is a small, you can say not even the hand of full size of my palm. The size of the kit is just half my palm kit which is there. So you using this particular kit, you directly interface to your CPU or your laptop, and you can program the device and you can run projects on that. So coming further to these things, so this is your ARM Cortex, right? These are some of the other features. I'll not go into much detail, but you can have a look that we are having the serial interfaces which are there. 8 UARTs are there. We have SSI, SPI interface, CAN protocols. Then for motion controls also, we are having 2 quadrature encoder inputs, 16 PWM outputs are available. Then as microcontroller has timers, we have comparators also, which can be used for your PWM generation and PWM interrupt and all these things. So these are your analog particular part which is there, and this is the clock system which is available in this particular case. One of the most important feature you can see over here is 500 microsecond wake up from the low power modes. That means, see, when the project is not being used, so it will go to a sleep mode, and not even in less than 500 microsecond, it can come back to the actual action. So that is there. It is a 32-bit RISC microprocessor, that is reduced instruction set microprocessor. 32-bit data path it is having, 32-bit memory interfaces, and 32-bit register banks. It is following Harvard microcontroller background. 21 32-bit registers it is having for working. It has thumb to instruction set, right? And 16 to 32-bit, 26% less memory, and system clock 80 megahertz is available. So this is regarding all about your boards and the main particular parts which are there, right? So again, these are some of the things that you are having. That is onboard USB ISDI interface, which is there, USB port, power switch is there. Then it supports the booster pack pinout. Two user push buttons are connected. Reset button is there. User LEDs are there. And then crystal oscillator that we can see. So this is the way it is connected to the laptop, you can say, and this is the total setup that we have. So this is the USB emulation connection. So here we are going to connect the USB port, and this is the total board that we have seen, and just you need to connect it to your laptop, right? So now I'll come to the first, I'll explain. So this is the TIVA part, that is one board which we are going to use in the project. The second board is on the top of that will have a CC3100 module. So basically this module is a booster pack which gives the IoT capability to the board. That means we are having on TIVA, you can perform certain practicals, very basics also, like LED interfacing, motor interfacing, potentiometer interfacing. But when you add a CC3100 module on top of it, it is going to give it IoT capability because it is having an IP address which will be generated. And through that IP address, we can connect to the internet world. We can do the projects which are IoT based. So this is a very important package. So this is the booster pack we say, right? You can see the pinouts here also, that there are pins which are coming out. Similarly, below that also we have part where we can actually take the two kits along. So this is what I'm talking about. Basically, on below this, right? This is a TIVA C which is there, and on top of that, this module has been fitted, CC3100. So just imagine we have seen the TIVA kit, right? This particular kit. So placing a CC3100, that means this particular short module on top of this will have a booster pack which will be created. So one on the, I'll show that on the video what I have created. So one on the top of the other will be there. Now let us come to an application based on the same. So this is an IoT based sensor monitoring system using your TIVA C as well as CC3100. So in this experiment, we have to design an IoT based sensor monitoring system basically. And here we design an embedded server and monitor the different sensors which are connected to it using a web browser. So what we'll be doing will be, I have connected over here 3 sensors: temperature sensor, soil moisture sensor, and a light sensor which is there. And we'll try to monitor this over a web browser through IoT. So most of the times what happens is that we require a system which can monitor different sensors. It can be different application, maybe in a thermal plant or any other industrial plants, etc. So these sensors can be application specific. Sensor monitoring is widely used in safety critical industries, building monitoring, automobiles, etc. In this application, the TIVA C launchpad is connected to 4. In fact, I have connected to 3 different sensors because one sensor was not available with me in the college. So the launchpad also connects to a CC3100 booster pack. And this system is going to connect to a Wi-Fi access point. So we'll be using, for example, I'm connected to my Wi-Fi. So my laptop is connected to the same Wi-Fi, and my IoT board and CC3100 board will also be connected to the same Wi-Fi which I'm using. So it will be able to interchange the data. On the other side, the user who wants to monitor the sensor data can use his PC to launch the web browser. So once you get that particular IP address and you're connected to the same network as mine, you'll be able to see that particular data which is there. So as soon as the IP address of the launchpad is typed on the browser, it connects to the server and displays a web page. So I'll get an IP address, and that IP address will be the IP address of the CC3100. So it will connect to the servers and will display the web page which we are going to create. And this web page is then used to get the sensor values. So through that web page, we are going to monitor. So if you see the diagram, this is what is going to happen. This is a TIVA C launchpad that I've talked about. Now it will be connected through a SPI interface to CC3100 booster pack. So that is the same thing, placing your CC3100 on top of your TIVA C launchpad. And then to this TIVA C or this, we'll be connecting the sensors, different sensors that we want to monitor. They will be connected. Temperature sensor in my case, then my light sensor and moisture sensor. And then through CC3100, this is having an IP address. This is now connected to a Wi-Fi local area network, from where this IP address, if I type in any web browser which is connected to my network, right, I'll be able to see those values which which we have created, and see all the values. So this is one part, that is, I've told you the what is your hardware part which is involved, that is TIVA C, CC3100, and your mounting one on the top of the other. The second part of the this thing is writing a code in a software which is called as Energia. So we need to see, like for Arduino, we have the software, right, where we actually use it for writing the code. Similar way, under Texas Instruments, we are having a software very similar to the Arduino IDE which is there. And in the same way, we can write the code for Energia. Actually, Energia and introduction also needs a certain lectures to be delivered in order to tell that. But I'll try to simplify it and try to tell you how that happens, being the time restriction. And then third part, we can see the actual implementation, how to burn the code into the kit and see the output. So I'll stop sharing this particular slide right now, and I'll try to share my Energia screen. So please tell me if it is will be visible to you once it is visible to you. It is a red and white color Energia screen that I'll be sharing now. So there are two programs. I just need to check which program I'll connect first. Yeah. Are you able to see the Energia screen red and white color, sir?
Yes, yes.
I hope it is visible to you because I cannot increase the font. But this is the actually the Energia software, and for downloading, it is a freely available software at ti.com. And so if you go to texasinstruments.com, you need to create an account maybe. So you can download the Energia. Directly, you can type Energia, Energia. You can see it at the top over here. And you'll see total package folder, which will be downloaded. You don't need to install this folder. So basically, just a second, I'll show you how it is installed. So that for clarity, in case someone wants to work, you'll be able to see that. Just a second. So my screen is visible. Can you see my folder, sir?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I have downloaded this Energia, and this is the way it is. It will be downloaded onto your systems. So directly this folder will be coming. Energia 1.8.10 E23. So this is the version you are having. So once you open this, so there are drivers, there are examples, hardware, and all the libraries which are there. Now this is the particular you can say icon on which you need to directly click and start the Energia software. You don't need to install this once it is downloaded. It may take certain time. It is a heavy file, but you'll just need to open this and the Energia software will open. I don't know whether you'll be able to see right now. You'll be able to see my screen only, but this open this and directly what I've opened, that particular screen will be open to you. Again, I need to share. Just a second. I've taken another program. Just a second. There are two programs, so I need to check which program. Yeah. So this is the program for the thing that we are doing right now. So I hope my Energia screen is visible to you. So it is not possible to line by line explain the code, but still I'll try to explain you the logic. So first of all, this is the file part wherein you can open the new files as you do in Arduino and all. And then certain examples also which are inbuilt. So in case you want, you can also try these examples. For example, basics, and then you can blink, do the simple LED blinking program also. So like this, the tabs are available. And this is an important part here. The tools are available. For example, which board you are using. So here, which board we are going to use, that board we have to select, and the COM port has to be selected. So coming to the code, see, basically, in this case, you have to first, you are including all the files, that is CC3200. So these are your libraries which we need for CC3100 and 3200 examples which are there. Another board is CC3200. So for including those IoT files, we need to have these libraries which are there. That is why including this particular SPI for CC3200 launchpad. Automatically, it will help for 3100 also. Then include the SPI.h, that is your serial peripheral interface. Include Wi-Fi.h header files which are there. Then your network name, you have to include whatever network you are going to connect to, right? My daughter's this ID, SSID I need to put, and then what is the password that I need to put. Then after that, we'll be initializing certain values over here. For example, your temperature, sound, moisture, right? So we'll be actually taking these particular values which are there. So sensor value 0, initial value, temperature, we are taking initial value 0, sound and moisture, and light also initial value you have taken. Now, Wi-Fi server we are trying to create. So very important thing in a Wi-Fi server is that when doing any IoT project is that we should actually know that there is a port 80. So this is a computer network concept which we need when we are dealing with the IoT projects. So uh, port 80 is an important port in computer network which has to be opened in order to make the IoT projects work. So that is a basic fundamental. So we need to create a server on this port 80, and that is why in most of IoT projects you'll find this Wi-Fi server 80 over here. So we'll have the setup program and the main program. As we have an Arduino, similar we have in this case also, we are having void setup and void main program. So in setting up, we are trying to initialize the serial communication. So the baud rate is kept at 9600 standard baud rate. Then pin mode is basically an instruction, right? Where you can actually define that, for example, my red LED, I can use it as an output LED or input LED. This is the same way the Arduino people, those who have worked with the Arduino, they must be knowing this. So pin mode basically defines that your particular pin is going to work as an input pin or as an output pin. So then we'll see, we are trying to connect to the Wi-Fi network. So what we want to print, first of all, attempt to connect to the Wi-Fi network. So we'll try to print attempting to connect to the network named what name I'm giving to my network, right? And then it will try printing that, it'll print a dot till the time the network is connected. So you'll see that it is going to print that SSID, right? And then till the time it is connected, a dot will be printed, right? And once you are connected to the network, because it may take certain time to connect to the network. So once you get connected, that dot will stop and you are connected now to the network. Then it will start waiting for an IP address. See, I've told you that basically this board, which is there, right? I hope I'm maybe able to, this is the project I have set up. I don't know camera, maybe you'll be seeing that in front of me, but this is the TIVA board and on top of that is CC3100. So this is the setup that is created, okay? And once this particular board is having an IP address, so it will try to read the IP address of this board. Okay, and once it is connected, then it will say you are connected now to the network, and we'll wait for an IP address. Then it will start taking that IP address. So again, you'll put dot for waiting for that particular IP address. Once the IP address is obtained, it will be displayed to you, right? So that means IP address you have got. Now you are starting the web server on the port 80. You will start the web server. And once the web server started, that means my board is connected, it is giving the IP address, that means connection has been established. So after that, we'll do the next thing, that is we want to see if the clients that will become server. So I am the client, I want to check on the other web page. So I'll try to check the clients, right? So these are the instructions which are there for checking the availability of the client. It is not possible to explain everything. I'll explain the major part. Then we are trying to create a web browser over here, because we are doing an IoT project. So we'll create a web browser which will have temperature sensor, sound sensor, like this, all the sensor tabs will be created. So we'll be using HTML for that. So here you can see the HTML being represented over here. Server println HTML head title Wi-Fi sensor monitoring system. So this is the title that you will be giving to that particular web page. So you'll see that the web page will appear with this particular title. So we know that HTML from the HTML basics, that if we want to give a title to the HTML page, we'll use this command title Wi-Fi sensor monitoring, and then we'll close that title and all that. Then what font we want to give it to that, right? And what color we want to give it to that. So for choosing that, we have taken all these particular things. Alignment should be in the center. So we have commands for everything in the HTML. So this is there. Then we need certain tabs, buttons, right? So we have created button on click, right? And this is T button, basically for temperature sensor. Similarly for sound sensor, moisture sensor, and light sensor. So all these buttons we want to create. So once it is done, then we'll try to read a buffer the values. So here we are trying to buffer the values, and we'll try to try to read those particular values. So all these loops are basically an extension of this thing, right? The total code I'll not explain, but yes, when it is going to read the value, then how it is going to read the value and take it to the particular location and all those things. For example, void read temperature. Now see, we'll be connecting all these sensors to certain pins which are there of your Tiva launchpad, which is there. So I'll show you a diagram later on of Energia. Right now, it is not possible, but we have an Energia diagram of Tiva C. You can search on the internet where all the pinouts are given very clearly, that which pin is at which location and where you need to connect that particular connections. For example, here analog value is equal to analog read A0 channel. So this is the channel number 3 which we are using over here, right? So it is to be connected to which particular pin that will understand. For example, A0 is connected to PE.3, and PE.3 pin is actually mentioned on our board Tiva C, where it is present actually, right? So that connections we have made. And similar way, we have connected all the 4 input sensors which are there at different particular channels. Okay, A2, A1, A0, A4, like this. So it'll take those values. Once it will take buffer in that particular value, what sensor se jo value aayenge, it will buffer those values and then it will display it on the web page. So this is the thing that will be there. Print Wi-Fi status, right? SSID is printed, right? After that IP address is printed, and then you'll try to take those values and display those values. So now see, in order to load the program, what we need to do, these are the tools. Now this is your board to be selected, very important. In this case, our board is Launchpad Stellaris, right? And this is your W1M4F120 with 80 megahertz frequency. Stellaris, there are certain drivers which you need to install. Okay, there is a Stellaris drivers which we need to first install onto our laptop. Then only the program is going to run properly. So please take care of this particular thing, that we need to download the drivers, and then we have to connect to the particular COM port. So once it is done, we'll verify the program. So you can see here compiling sketch at the bottom on this particular red line. It is compiling. So done with the compiling. And then we'll say upload the code. So it is uploading right now and done uploading. So these are similar ways of those of you who have used Arduino. Same steps are there over there also. We need to first verify and then we need to upload. Once it is compiled, then we need to upload the code. So that means that my code has been actually uploaded onto my board, which is there. So I'd like to now actually connect to my through my laptop, through my phone also, so that I can show you the view of the project. So just give me a second. I'll try to connect through my phone, and on other screen, maybe through that, I'll show you the project. So you need to check out where through my other screen, you can see the video. Just a second. It may take a little. So I hope my screen is visible to you, sir.
Yeah.
Through the video.
Participants are requested to pin the ma'am screen, that HOD NTC, you can pin it so that they will have a larger view.
Yeah. So this is the board actually, which I have shown, that this is on the top of this. So this is down below, this is Tiva board. And on top of this, this is CC3100 board, right? So you can see the handouts and this thing. Actually, I've mounted this, otherwise I would have shown you separately also. The pins for those particular dipping this. And then we have connected a, I don't know, this visible. So this is your LDR, which is there, right? LDR, which is there, small LDR, if you can see that. So that we have connected. And all these VCC and ground we have connected, and all these connections we have done, simply looking at which particular channel is connected, right? And which particular channel is connected to which particular pin, right? So I'll show you that how I'll share the screen once again, going back to our Energia. So this is what we have uploaded onto this particular board. Now we'll go to tools. And I'll go to serial monitor. So see, this will happen. You are connected, right, to the network. Okay, once we have connected, because we already connected the board. So in starting, you'll get dots, all these things which will be there. And after that, you will get the IP address obtained, SSID, what is there. And IP address of this CC3100 board is now 192.168.1.11. Okay, this will get. And signal strength is -77 dBm. Now, to see this page in action, open a browser. It is saying open a browser to, just a second. Open a browser to HTTP 192.168.1.11. So I'll take this. Are you able to see the small screen on top of this or not? Or you are seeing the Energia screen only? I think you're seeing the Energia screen only, right? Okay, yeah. Just a second. Just a second. Now is it visible? White colored screen attempting to connect to the network.
Yeah. It's visible. Go ahead.
Yes. So this is the thing, attempting to connect to the network named this. And then what is the IP address of the CC3100 board that it has identified. So I need to copy this particular IP address because this is the IP address of my CC3100. And now I'll take it to my web browser. Again, I'll stop sharing and share my entire screen now. So like this is my screen. I've let this thing. Are you able to see my entire screen with the Google?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah.
So let us see, it takes some time to configure some of the times. So let us see how much time it is going to take. Otherwise, I've tested it once. Okay, it'll go again. Just a second. So now we'll get a web page over here that will consist of total this thing. That means the web page of temperature sensor, sound sensor, light sensor, and all those things. Yeah. So we got it here. This is a web page which we have created through the HTML language which we have created. We had given the buttons which we have created: temperature sensor, sound sensor, moisture sensor, and light sensor. So now we can check the status. Click here to check the status of the sensor. So I'll click on the temperature sensor. So this is the value it is showing over here, the temperature sensor value, for example, right, 74.6. So it will change depending on the temperature. If I'm able to increase or show the values, so it will give you the values. Similar way, I can check the moisture. So right now it will show dry. And if I actually dip it into water, right now I can do that. But if I do that, it will give me the moisture sensor value is something. It will not show the exact value, but it will say that moisture sensor is having some value. And another is your light sensor. This we can actually test. For example, right now it is 167. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually keeping my hand on the sensor. So I'll refresh this and the values are going to change. Okay. So you can see the values changing here. Once I close the LDR or keep my hand on it. And now what I'll do is see the values increasing. Well, now I'll take my mobile light. So I've logged out of the other phone, but Now I'm trying to put the light on the LDR. So you see the value decreasing. So basically, this is the concept of LDR. When the light falls on that this particular value, it is decreasing. But when the darkness increases, that value is increasing. So right now, I'm actually putting mobile flash on this. Okay, and mobile flash. So I've opened my flash and I'm putting it on my LDR. The setup is slightly that. So that I'm putting on this. And I once I close my this and I'm keeping my hand on the top of this and I refresh this, you'll see the value will drastically increase. So the light sensor value we can directly see. So this is an IoT sensor monitoring with the help of your CC3100 and TIVA launchpad, where your TIVA has worked at the background, right? That is this particular board, right, that has worked at your base, and CC3100 is having the IP address. We have made these 3 or 4 connections to the sensors which are there. So this is your temperature sensor, and this is your soil moisture sensor in the second number, and this is your LDR. So with using breadboard, we have made these connections, and then we have designed this web page. And using this particular, this is an IoT application, we can say, which can be used in industrial applications or this. So, and it is an industry ready board, so it will be much more durable, you can say, and the application will be much more specific. So this is one part of my presentation. Now, similar way, I want to show you another board which is there. That is even, you can say, no sensors I've used. I'll show you directly on the board and on the LEDs, onboard LEDs. So let me stop this sharing. We'll go to the second part of the presentation. So this is one project over. Now I want to show you the second project. Okay. Okay, my camera was off actually in this case. I was trying to show that. Okay. So the Windows is done. So second application, it is a short application, not that lengthy one, but an interesting one. So CC3200. I hope my screen is visible to you with the CC3200 written on this, sir.
You can share it.
Okay, okay. Okay, fine. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible now.
Yeah, just a second. So this is second application using CC3200 device which is there. So basically CC3200 is again a wireless microcontroller device that is there, and this is the board. Hope my video is on. So this is the board now, right now. So that is the only board, and with this board we are going to implement a small LED control application, right, automation application using CC3200 board. So in the previous board, what we have done, we have used a basic board of TIVA C, and on the top of that we have mounted CC3100. But this is the total IoT supported board that we are having available, that is CC3200 from Texas Instruments. So first I'll explain the board. So basically this is a wireless microcontroller that integrates a high performance ARM Cortex. I need to plug in my charger. Just a second, sir. Just give me a second. Need to share again. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. Visible PPT. Fine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is basically a wireless microcontroller that integrates a high performance ARM Cortex and for a microcontroller and the peripherals, allowing the customers to develop an entire application with a single IC. So you can actually build up a total application using a single IC. So CC3200 includes an M4 core running at 80 megahertz with the flash memory options up to 1 MB and RAM option up to 256 KB, providing the flexibility to match your end application. So it is having such a, you can say 80 megahertz speed, which is there for crystal oscillator, and then 1 MB memory and RAM options also up to 256 KB, which are available. Then it is having an on-chip ARM Cortex M480 megahertz processor that allows customers custom application interfaces to be done on the chip. It is having an 802.11 station with a fully integrated auto-calibrated radio baseband and MAC for Wi-Fi capability, and advanced Wi-Fi connection manager with no host processor involvement. So it is having a advanced Wi-Fi connection manager, and that is why this board is able to support directly the IoT applications. So it is also having two UARTs, two SPIs, cameras, availability, audio. So all these things can be connected. It is having 4 timers, 16-bit pulse width modulation is there. It is having 27 GP IOs, that is general purpose input outputs. So Wi-Fi network processor, it is basically a Wi-Fi network processor with on-chip LAN, wireless LAN, and TCP IP stacks. It is an embedded crypto engine with 256-bit encryption, secure boot, and WPA personal and enterprise security is providing. It is having an integrated DSP with a wide range single supply. So all these are features. Now, so that is all thing about the board. Now we are trying to create a simple web server to turn on and off the LED on CC3200 using again Energia. So this is actually the board which I have shown you, or this is the board. You can see the photo also, and you can see the board in actual. So here, this is written as CC3200 launch pad. This is the main controller over here in the center. Again, this is also called as launchpad. Every kits which are created by TechSpace, they have given it a name of launchpad in order to just highlight that it is launching something. They're launching some products. They're launching some projects on that. So these things are there. So here, some of the one jumper only we need to, or wire only we need to connect from a specific pin that I show in the hardware. From this particular pin to this particular pin, that is a requirement from their end. Again, you have a USB over here which can directly be connected, and we can do that. Only thing is, in this particular case, the baud rate has to be 115220, 115200. Otherwise, in the last case, it was 9600 baud rate. In this particular kit, we need a baud rate of 11520. So this is the jumper connection C that we need to make, that on this particular kit. These two particular pins are connected. So from the data sheet also we can understand and do that. So that is the only requirement. And then we need to go to the tools. Now same way we'll go to Energia, right? Now we'll choose the board CC3200 instead of Tiva C, because that is our board now. Again, we need to choose the port. So we are going to choose the port. And we can do a blinking example, but right now, I'm not going to do a blinking example. We'll just see the controlling of the LEDs on the board, which are there. And basically, these are the LEDs over here. In case you can see, there is a green LED, there is a red LED. Green LED is right now blinking. So these are micro LEDs which are there. So we'll see how to control these LEDs through the Energia. So I'll go now to the Energia screen. Just yeah. So similar kind of a concept is used here also in writing the program. So that we have, you will include the first of all CC3200, right? That are the files, and SPI files will be, header files are included, Wi-Fi files are included, and then your SSID, right? And then your password. So this has to be your hotspot or your Wi-Fi network username and password which you are going to put. And then again, we'll open the web server which is there. So we'll have a web server 80. Same way I told you that port 80 we need to open, so that we'll trying to create a web server. Now see here, this is serial.begin 115200. That means the baud rate over here is different. Will not happen because it is designed to work at this particular baud rate. So pin mode again. Now see here, pin mode means we are setting the mode of the pin. So we are making the red LED as the output pin, right? And the green LED also as the output pin. So we need to initialize first that red LED is working as the output pin and green LED is also working as the output pin which is there. Now attempt to connect to the Wi-Fi network. So again, the same thing is going to happen because this board is also going to have an IP address. So we are trying to connect to the network named, what name you have given at the top. Then it will print that particular SSID. So see what happens actually is now you can relate because you have seen one output. So it will print attempting to connect to the network named, and this will be the name SSID which we have put now. That name will be displayed over there. And then it will keep on waiting. It will keep on printing this dot till that time the board gets connected. So once the board get connected, then you'll get what message? You are now connected to the network. So now it is saying waiting for an IP address. So it will take a time to actually locate its IP address. So again, you'll get that message waiting for an IP address. Now again, it will start printing the dots till the time it tracks the IP address. So now in the next step, your IP address is going to be obtained, right? So you'll say you are now connected, right? So print out the status, print Wi-Fi status, starting the web server on port 80. That means once my IP address has been identified, so your web server has started on port 80, right? So web server has started working. And now again, the client communication and the server communication will start. So it will check the client, anyone, see, once the system start working, it is working fine. Now it is ready with the IP address, but someone has to ask for the information, right? Someone will ask for the information that I want to check the status of this particular temperature, and that is when the client comes in. So it will check for the whether the client is available or not. So it will then try to connect, and then it will again over here, see, we'll have some HTML commands for actually designing the web page here also. It has gone down. So see, so again, coming to this part, again, you are giving a web page, trying to create a web page in this particular lines. So I'll now have given the title, Energia CC3200 web page. Okay, so this particular web page will be there. You're center aligning it, what font you are giving, color you are giving red, an LED automation page you have created. You're giving it font colors, all these things. Then we want to create the buttons again. So now here the buttons will be red LED, on, off, green LED, on, off. So we'll see how on clicking that particular button, right, the red LED will be on, green LED will be on. So here in these lines, we have created those buttons. Okay. Then the buffering will start. Okay. And then it is just going to see whether on which particular web page you are clicking, on which button you are clicking. If you are saying red LED high, so it will send that output to the CC3200 board, input to that board that yes, you have to turn this particular red LED high. Similarly, red LED low, green LED high, and green LED low. And then it will close that connection. So start the connection, close the connection. And the client will say it will get disconnected. Again, when you will click on that button, again, the client will be connected, right? It will pass on that information, it will disconnect it. So once I run that app, you will see that on this particular page also, some things are not actually easily explainable on the online mode also. So you'll see that that white page continuously keeps on buffering one after the other. Okay. So this is the main program, the main logic over here. And in the end, we'll say that print your Wi-Fi address and this process is going to go on. Okay. So that is there. Now, see, once the IP address is identified, in the end, you will have to see this web page in action, open the browser page to this. So you'll get the IP address here. Again, I'll take that IP address, paste it on my screen, and we'll see the result. So see, now over here, I'll select the tools as CC3200 Launchpad. Okay, 80 megahertz. And then COM port 5. Let me see if that COM port is 4 or 5 now. And we'll say verify. So it is compiling the sketch right now. You can see here on the red line at the bottom, done compiling. And then upload the code. Okay. COM port 4. That means this error I'm getting, that means COM port 4 is not there. Maybe only COM port 5 was only there. I'll again select COM port 5. Now trying to upload. So it is uploading right now. So done uploading. So this is the way the error also happens. You need to track that maybe I've selected the wrong COM port, right? So now it is uploaded. And again, I'll go to the serial monitor and you will not be able to see that. So I'll again share the screen. Just a second. So is the white screen now visible to you, all of you? Just a second.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So this is again connected, attempting to connect to the network named this, waiting for the IP address. So now this is the IP address we have obtained, 192.168, which is the IP address of this particular board actually, which I have connected. And this is the only connection. See, this board is there connected with my USB, okay, to the laptop. That's it. Okay. So this is now the address. Now I'll take this address and paste it on my web page. So let us see what output we are going to get here. So again, I'll disconnect this and do that. And that we'll just find up in 5 minutes that that is done actually. So my session will be over. I'll show you the output here. So let me see. Once it is done, I'll share the screen. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. So I'll share this again. Just a second. So just a second. एक ही मिनट सर वापस से वही शेयर हो गया एक मिनट share the entire screen. So are you able to see the LED automation page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
this is the page we have created, the web page we have created, and this is the buttons we have created: red LED high and low, and then green LED high and low. So it is simple application. Just to show you the importance of the board, I've planned this thing. So this is your red LED. My video is on, sir.
Yes, yes. Video is not there. Screen is there.
Okay, because I want to show you the
LED
board.
automation page.
Yeah, so actually I want to show you the board now. So I just want if I can actually click start my camera.
File example, yeah. LED automation page is there.
Okay. So this is high and low. So
Yeah.
it automatically turns the this particular board high and low. So just a second again. So this is their entire screen and this sharing. Okay. Yeah, so this is right. This is the state and we are clicking on red high. So I hope the red LED now you can turn high, and similar way the red LED low, so that will close the LED. And the similar way you can monitor the green LED here. So this green LED turns high and this green LED turns low. This all is being controlled through this web page, that means through the IoT. So again, once again, red LED high, you need to monitor these LEDs. These are micro LEDs. So you can see the red LED being turned high over here, and then the again turn low, then green LED high, and then green LED low. So these are the two applications that are there using your two types of boards which are there. Just a second. Okay. Right. So these are the two projects that we have done. That is using your IoT, the sensor monitoring using C3100 and your TIVA Launchpad from the Texas Instrument. And second is using CC3200. How we can actually, we have small application I have taken because of the time restriction, and then how we can see the red LED and the green LED working with the help of CC3200 board. So that's it from my side, sir. Any queries, you can always connect back to me in case anyone wants the details regarding the boards and all, or how to load the drivers and all. You may face certain issues. So anytime you can get my contact from sir, and anyone has any issue, you can always talk.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir,
Yeah.
for giving this opportunity.
Participants can use the chat box if necessary. You can unmute. It's an excellent opportunity for us to understand real-time projects. Ma'am has taken a lot of effort to make us understand
Thank you,
the
sir. This is just a
hands-on.
bit that we implemented. Generally, in the workshop that we conduct, we start from the basic board of MST 430, doing the particular application, and then we go to high-end applications or using the IoT applications. But seeing the scope of the workshop, I had planned to cover the IoT projects directly using the 3100 and 3200 boards, so that it adds value to your workshop also. I hope I have done the
Excellent, actually. Participant, first of all, Pratik want to understand something. Pratik, is there any queries? You can put it in the chat box. Yes. Anyone want to say something? I think, yeah. It is our topic, embedded system SOC using, yeah. We got a lot of knowledge. Thank you, ma'am.
welcome, Yogesh.
Dr.
Thank you,
Praveen,
sir. Yes, sir.
nice presentation.
Thank you.
Training now, yeah, now generation, very good, Pratik. Yeah, ma'am, Pratik is using, yeah,
Okay,
Pratik query
great.
you can take.
What project? Okay. So using the same board, CC3100. Okay, Energia. It is ENA. Yeah, Energia. Very good. So if any issues, you can always connect, right? So that we can see. Very good. You are working on the boards, and definitely using the Texas boards give you an advantage in future. When you write it in your resumes that you have worked on the Texas board, definitely this. My email ID, you can have SK Bhatia, SKBHATIAENTC at gmail.com. SK Bhatia, SKBHATIAENTC at gmail.com.
Yeah. So very good information, ma'am. Really, I appreciate on
Thank you,
behalf
sir.
of
My pleasure.
IETE Words Academy Civic.
Thank you.
Really, it's a great experience for our participants for your efforts. In future, also we may disturb you again because.
My pleasure, sir. It is always nice talking and delivering on the topics. So it will keep you involved and all the things.
Yeah. Over to Saeed. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So it was definitely one of the interesting sessions till now because of the hands-on and the practical applications that you've shown us. So once again, a very formal thank you from on
Thank
behalf of IIT Pune chapter, Budge Engineering Academy and Civic Incubation Center. Thank you for sharing your time and sharing your insights with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks to
Okay.
the Birds Academy and IIT for giving me this opportunity. I will definitely. Okay, mail you have not got, Pratik. It is okay. I'll just sir in message. I'll chat type. He's not
Yeah,
getting
put
the
it
mail.
in message actually.
Yeah.
So many people want to interact with you. The
Okay. No
message.
problem. Contact number also I'll give over here. You can use. Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
So with this note, I request Arjun sir to please continue with the session.
Okay. So now, just let me share my screen. Yeah. Yeah, my screen, is it visible to you?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, okay, okay. Now already it's a wonderful experience as Bhate madam has, she has underlined in front of us to use our IoT devices, how to connect those devices, how to use those devices, and some real-time kids hands-ons she has already made. So with this background, we'll proceed little further because learning there is no end, but let's proceed little further. Now, today we are going to have a discussion on one more important topic. That's what is for the, you can call as one topic I will call RESTful architecture. We'll see. But we'll proceed for the API integration. We'll go for API. I think here it might be visible to you. The API. So, yeah, here you can see usual, yeah, yeah, HTTP, yeah, yeah. Now we have to go for the API. 1 minute, just I will share my screen. Uh, just I will share my screen. Okay. Just I will share my program is. Okay. Now here is a compiler. Just I have kept it for shortly. We'll work on it. So first of all, yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. So today we'll try to enhance our discussion with the background as ma'am has underlined. So this is the API, we'll say. So API stands for Application Program Interface. That refers set of functions, methods, and protocols that allow different software applications to communicate, interact with each other. So we have to communicate, interact with each other. API defines the methods and data structures that developers can use to interact with particular software component, service, system without needing to understand internal implementation. So here in API, different libraries are there, but one of the API libraries, there are set of functions and classes provided by libraries or frameworks that developers, okay. And here you can see Python request library provides API for making HTTP request, the math model, etc. Now there is a web APIs. These are the interfaces exposed by web service to allow external application to interact with their functionality. Web APIs are commonly used to retrieve or manipulate data over internet. They often use protocols like HTTP and follow certain conventions such as REST and this GraphQL. So these are the some of the many APIs among. But our today's topic of discussion is the API, because in AI/ML IoT environment, in our machine-to-machine communication, always there is a need to communicate with the web browsers. We might be at remote location and we have to access the information from the web browser. So in order to extract, in order to modify, or in order to update, or you can call as a manipulate the information, we need a APIs. Now, in order to understand APIs, we should have some ID environment. That is a, you can call as a, it is a better to use local integrating development environment. That is a ID environment, or you can have a visual code, you can have a pie chart. You can see here you can have a pie chart. Yeah. So, but actually, if you go for Visual Studio Code, PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, then it might be good for the offline interaction, but it might be little uneasy for the online interaction. So today again, here we will go for the online compiler, which we have introduced in the last. That's what the Replit compiler, that's hands-on we'll try to see. But first of all, we'll try to see what exactly the API and how to interact through the web browser. Now for that, you can see the local development environment provides flexibility and features needed for API interaction. But as I underline that it might be little uneasy for learning for the online for the local development environments. So here again, we will go for the many are there, but here again, we will go for the https replit.com. So as we have already understood that HTTP replit. So here you can have this compiler for our web browser. I hope it might be clear to you what exactly the API, and in API also different functions are there that we will see it little later. But as of now, here you can see this paragraph here over here, and API application programming interface is a set of rules and protocols that allows different softwares applications to communicate with each other. APIs define how requests and responses should formatted and kind of data can be executed. APIs can be RESTful, which means that they use HTTP methods like get, post, put, delete, which I have underlined. That's what the manipulation. That's what the manipulation. So what exactly we are trying to do is the suppose, for example, this is our web browser, and we are at the, for example, our client server environment at remote location also. So we need to modify or manipulate the data from the web browser. So as you are already aware of that, there is a authenticity or authentication to access that. So for example, bank server, so only bank people are allowed to access that particular server for the authentication. So in AI/ML IoT environment also, in order to access or modify the information via the web browser. So here we will take one small example over here. So for example, here you can see here, first of all, for the first talk of discussion, we'll go for the simple authentication program in the Python. So in the Replit environment, we'll have a simple authentication program in the Python. So for that purpose, initially we have to create a dictionary credentials to access the web browser. So for that, you can have a dictionary that's to store user and password pair, which replace with your desired credentials. So for example, here you can define user one. User one might be any name of the person who is authorized to access the particular web browser or some information from the browser. So that's what the person name we can call as, we can create as a dictionary in the Python. And here you can first of all create a dictionary under the heading of user one, and then you can allocate some password for that. So this is what the password. So here you can give any your password. As of now in this example, suppose we have written as a password 123. So that's what the user one is allocated. For example, bank server, and the person or table one or name one, that person is allowed with this particular password. So with particular this password. So for example, this is a password one. Similarly, you can create a dictionary of user two. So suppose, for example, this is a user two, its name might be anything, and this is a particular password is allocated for the user two. So might be name, might be Mahesh, Sham, or anything. So user one and the corresponding password. So you can have your own user, and you can have your own password. You can have a user and you can have a password. Suppose for example here user 3 and the corresponding password is for that particular user. So this is what the dictionary we have created for that, for want of access of our API environment user and the password. That bunch of users and bunch of passwords are defined in the dictionary itself. So in order to ensure the authenticity. Now moving to the here define authenticate. So here you can have a username and you can have the password. Now some cases there might be some other depending upon the security or the authenticity. I think the two words are different. One is a security and one is a authenticity. So here we are trying to understand how to authenticate some particular web browser to manipulate the information from the web browser through web browser via the remote environment in client server environment, which we have seen in the last classes also. Some little background we have seen. Now moving to the here the user, here you can have a your some another biometric authentication also you can have, but here as of now username and password we have taken. And then you can see here is a triple quote we have used here, generally double quote, single quote, double quote and triple quote. So we can have authenticate the user, and if user in credentials you can have a username and equal to password and return true. Actually it's return true, which we have seen. It's a boolean. Boolean means it is not like that tomorrow rain is coming, so there is a probability of 50% or 60% or 90%. It's not like that. So whatever user ID and the password you have provided to access the information from the remotely, so that should match, and that should either match or either not match. So that's what the 100% matching or 100% not matching. So here that's what we have defined with the boolean term. That's what the true, and it returns with the false. Means if it is a matching, then only it will be permitted to access it. If it is a not matching, then it will be defined something else. You are not authenticated user, or it is not authenticated like that. So that's what the define we did in the next para over. I hope you understand the exactly concept, what exactly we are trying to do. Once again, little bit I'll repeat that in API environment, we are trying to access the web browser via the user ID and password allocated. Like a subscription we can have from, then some particular subscription is allowed or not allowed, then only we'll be able to access, like kind of that. So here that should match with the boolean, either 100% true or 100% false. That's what the is defined. Then next term you can move here is a main function to run authentication process, and for that process I think in Python you are already seen that one is a scan and one is a print. So on the screen you will get whether it is a matching, then it will be defined as welcome to the authentication system, and they will say that please enter your credentials. That's what the user input you can give through the your keyboard. That's what you can have. They will say, it will say welcome, and then you can have your credentials too. And while true, actually different loops we have seen, or we are aware in C language in the little bit we have revised in past. So different loops are there: while loop, else if, true, and so on. So different loopings are there. So in that looping, you can see here the while true. While true means suppose username and the password. That's while true. And you can see here in the loop, if authenticate username and password is defined and both are matching, if both are matching, then the system will it will get print as a hello, and your username is suppose user1. So user1 is defined over here, user1 here. So it is a hello, and you are logged in, and the message will be stop it there itself. A message will stop itself. So hello print and hello username, and you are logged in. Else, you can print suppose the username and password is not matching. Username and password is not matching, then it will print as invalid username or password. Please try again. And that's what the further the initialization function. That's what the underscore name, and if here meant then the system. So that's what the one of the small example we are trying to understand the in AI/ML IoT environment, how you are going to browse or modify the browser through the user ID and the password. So here, please, you have to, everyone has to open your replit. So if you have opened your replit, you can say yes fast here, as time is again running. We have to try to learn as much as possible. So if your replit browser is open, in the chat box, you can say yes. If browser is not there, you can say no. If you have opened replit, yeah, Durgesh is saying yes. Sahil is saying yes. Other participants, you can open your replit browser. Mrunal, yeah, yes. You have to respond so that it will be easy for us to proceed. Otherwise, it will be one-way communication. If necessary, we'll turn on your microphone also. So Durgesh got a replit. Sai got replit. Mrunal got replit. Yes, yes. Further, please open your replit browser. I'll give another 1 minute. Pratik want to say something? Pratik, you want to say something? Yeah. Abhinav, Anirudh Prasad, Dharmaraj, Dr. Praveen, Dr. Nitin, Durgesh, Gagandeep, yeah, Harshadip, Kalpana, Minakshi, Mrinal, Nikita, Pratik, yeah, Praveen. So many names are there. Please reply in the chat box. Only Durgesh, Sai, and Mrunal, they have their replit. So if you don't have a replit compiler, Suhas is having. Otherwise, I will give you one again a replit compiler. So here I will give the replit compiler again. So you can see those who are not having the compiler, you can see you can go here and you can go for the replit here, and you can open a replit Python. Then you can open this Python online compiler, which I have given in the last class earlier. You can go here and then you can open a Python and you can have a create replit. Yeah, you can have a create replit. So this the compiler you can create. This compiler you can create. Yeah. Once your compiler is okay, then you can try to write this. First of all, first sentence you can start writing now. You can define user word. Go ahead. Yeah. Start writing your program. Go ahead. Yeah, this is a compiler I have given. Yeah. So this is a screen over here right now. You can first of all write your credentials. You can create your own credentials. These credentials which I have underlined here. Credentials is user 1 password, user 2 password, user 3 secret. So this you can complete right now here. If you have complete this, I will put it in the chat box again over here, and also you just copy it there and you can paste it there. Okay, I will put it in the WhatsApp group also. Yeah, so these credentials you can put it there. I will put it shortly, entire program also. But how many have done up to this? Please reply me in the chat box. How many have created this replit and you have entered credentials as user 1 password, user 2 password? If you are having this, then you can say yes. If you are having this, you can say yes. Reply in the chat box. Mrunal has completed. Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else? Suhas? As time is running, so just I will put it again the program. So program, as I have told you, so here the credentials you can define. I think my screen might be visible to you. So here you can define the credentials, and yeah, then you can define the authenticate user and password over here. Authenticate user and password. So if username in credentials and credentials username password returns true, that's what the boolean. And then if it is a matching your username and password, then you can have a welcome to authentication system, please enter your credentials. And then username and password while true, which is a boolean. If it is a true, okay, username and password, if it is a true, then if authenticate username and password, and if it is a true, then message will be print hello username, how are now logged in. And just as I told you, the calculator, just add and stop, multiply and stop, just like how you are using the calculator. Similarly here also, once username and password is matching, it will say break. And if username and password is not matching, then it will say it's a invalid user. So that's what the program is there. This same program I will put it in the text format so that you will be able to execute. So just that I will put it here in the text format. If it is a possible for there, you can have. Otherwise, I will give it over here. The username and the password. So API username and password. Username and password. So just I will put it this program over here. This is a username and password. You can say save. Okay. Then just I will put it on the group. So username and password. I will put the document, and then it is from the desktop, and here the API username and password. So this is I have given username and password. So I have showed it in the text file. So you can just copy that text file. Yeah, just copy the text file and put it in the browser. And this is a browser. And then I will say stop over here. Then just I will say run over here. So run. So you can see welcome to the authenticate system. To authenticate our browser, we have to authenticate it. So we have to give the username. Suppose here we have defined username 1. So you will get user. Just we'll define over here user 1. So user 1 is defined. And now it will say the password. So we'll say the password. So password we have entered. Now you can see for the user 1, our password is password 123. But we have given here is a only password. So it is printed as a invalid username and the password. So it got here invalid username and password. So what exactly we have to do now here is, here you can put it the correct password. So correct password is PASS WRD. Correct password 123. So now you can see the username. Yeah. Once again, you see the username is pass. Yeah, if we have entered wrongly, so we'll stop it here, and then we'll run. So username will give as a username USER user1. Yeah, user1 is defined, and the password will define as a PASSWRD. Password will define as 123 123. So username and password is defined. Now you can see the user one and the password is matching. So user one and password. Hello user one, you are now logged in. Hello user one, you are in logged in. Suppose for example, uh, again we'll run. It will stop it when the browser, if you are going to browse it, then it will stop. And then here again, suppose we'll have a user2, and the corresponding password for the user2 is secure123. secure123. So username and password, second one is a secure123. Again, it's matching as a hello user1, hello user2, you are now logged in. So that's what the username and password. So here you can have a n number of user in API environment, and you can have a authentic system for over here. Suppose we'll check one more, the last, for example here. So we'll say run, and username is, suppose we will give here is a user user 2. So user 2 is defined. Then what is the password we have defined here? The secret 123. Secret 123. So secret 123 is a password. So you can see it here. Yeah, Durgesh, error is coming at last two lines of code showing name not defined. Yeah. So what you can do is whatever code I have given in the text file, that text file you can just copy it and put it there in the replit over here. You can open this replit compiler. Durgesh, just you can open the replit compiler and just put the code over there is given. Just put it in your browser. Here we are just trying to understand that how in AI/ML environment through remotely, how we are going to access the browser. That example we'll see it shortly. Yeah, now it's okay. So how many have completed this? I want to know how many have checked. You can put it your own username. You can define your own user, and you can define your password, and you can check it. So how many have checked this? Please say yes. Just I want to know how many have done this. Yeah, Durgesh has completed. Brunal has completed. Two are there. Fast. Durgesh completed. Brunal completed. Those who have checked this authentication system, please say yes in the chat box. It is expected that you must reply in two-way. That's what the expectation. Yeah. Nikita, Pratik, Praveen, Sai, Suhas, Swati, Tukaram, Vijaya. Yeah. Just I want to know what the problem. Durgesh completed, only two has completed. Because further experiment again will not be able to understand. So it is expected that you must try. If you have any problem, you can say define here problem. If you are unable to do the authentication, please define the problem. Else you have to proceed. Sai is completed. Very good. So with this discussion, we have studied that in API programming interface, the browser. So we will allocate the user ID and the password so that we will be able to access the browser. That we'll see the example. I hope it might be clear to you up to this point. So that's what we have seen. The authentication which we have used again here is a Python, and this is what the output is expected when run the program. It will display message username and wait for your input, and user and press enter. It will display password and wait for your input again. You enter the password and press enter, and program just which we have checked it here, and username and password and entries in the credential dictionary. If they match, it will show success message and will ask to try until you provide the valid credentials or exit the program. So in this program, it may not be possible for us to understand again step by step. It will be recorded. You can go to the program, but just I will give you the understanding how to understand this program. Actually, most of the participants might be aware how to write the program in the Python, but those who are having some difficulties, they can go through this recording. Just I will put it in the screen. So it may be difficult little for us to explain step by step, line by line, but it will be recorded. You can go through the recordings later, and you can execute your credentials. How the authenticate function is defined, and then how the loop is created, and the main function block ensures the main function is only executed when the script is run directly, not when imported as a model from the another script, and it will be asking the username and password. So that's what the API environment, one of the program which we have seen. Now moving to the next example in the same API environment. So here, yeah, the RESTful architecture, of course, we will see it little later again. But we will have one more. Yeah. I don't know it will work or not. Just I will try. One more program we'll go for. Copy. Yeah. This is again our replete environment. And this is again, we will have one more program. Here. Yeah. 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 So you can see here is a one small example. We'll go for the next. Yeah. You see what exactly we are trying to do is, for example, in machine-to-machine communication. Yeah, double underscore at both sides is needed. Yeah. Yes. Kalpana. Okay. Now we'll move for the next example. So as our topic is, suppose this is a one robot and this is one another robot. Okay. So as we have seen earlier that machine to machine communication, here last class also we have seen the multiple accessing of data. Dr. Sujata ma'am, she has explained. So suppose this is a one sensor, this is another sensor. As Dr. Bhatia ma'am, she has also explained about the sensors, how to integrate with the web environment. Now suppose this is a sensor 1 and this is a sensor 2. Now this data is to be processed and the data is to be uploaded on the cloud or the web browser. So from the cloud, you can upload on the cloud and you can monitor the data through the web browser. Suppose this is our browser. So, okay, so data is generated. So second example, we are trying to understand, suppose some particular city is there. Suppose the city is a Delhi city Suppose city is a Delhi, and just we want to understand the weather information about the Delhi, and the data is a protected. That data is a password protected. So that password protected integration, just we have seen just right now the password protection. Suppose this is a Delhi, and in the Delhi data is being generated. A lot of data is being generated. Suppose the temperature, the rain, or the pressure, or the traffic density, or the wind. It might be weather data, or it might be any kind of data, but that which kind of data is not important. It's a data. Data might be for temperature, data might be for weather, or data might be for anything. So in the today's the smart environment, or in the smart cities environment, lot of data is being generated through the sensor that is loaded with the some local servers, and from the local servers to the cloud, we can call as a fog computing and cloud computing. The data is being loaded on the cloud, and from the cloud the data is being aggregated, as last class the Dr. Sujata, she has explained. So the data is aggregated, and the data is being processed in some meaningful format to the user. So that's what the your background for IoT, AI/ML environment, and the IoT environment. So the data is being aggregated, and the data is being presented to the user. Now, in this environment, suppose this is our browser. Suppose this is a HTTP browser. It might be www, or suppose it is a delhi.com, or it might be hyderabad.com. So this is a web browser. Now this is a protected browser. This is a important information on the browser, which information may not be available easily. This information may not be available easily to the everyone. So those who have authenticated person, or those who have subscribed that, these people will be able to use that information. So for that purpose, initially we have seen one example, that's the user ID and the password. So now suppose we might be at any location, and we are trying to use the browser through. So our next topic is how to extract the information from the web browser, which is a protected information. Otherwise, we may think that a web browser we can easily just access, go to the any web and you can access, but it's an important information which is not easily available to anyone, which is a protected information. So here we are talking about the protected information. I hope the example topic, it might be clear to you. What we are going to learn here is, today we are trying to extract the protected information from particular web browser, or our machine to machine environment, our remote device, or our IoT device is capable, or it might be our robot, or it might be our factory machine is capable. Our robot working at the field or in the factory is capable enough to extract the information from the web browser. That's what our example. Now the second example, the topic, those who understood, they say yes. If you have a queries, you can say no. Those who understood this example topic, just so I have given a title, what exactly we are trying to do. Those who understand, they can say yes. Which example we are trying to learn right now? Those who understood, they can say yes. Anyone? Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. That's example we are going to see. So right now, okay. Now what exactly we are going to do here is the example, and now, yeah. So, yeah. Here you can see, understanding authorization with API typically involves authentication tokens or API keys to access specific resource, perform certain actions on the API. Means some data you can, or that resource data you can access, and we will be able to manipulate. The protected users are able to manipulate the data. So here is a simple program. So for that purpose, API with authorization using the API key. So here the example we are trying to take, suppose for example, we will use Open Weather Map API, okay, which requires API key for authentication. So API key is required for authentication. First need to sign up the PAPI key. So you see, here is a one website we are taking here is a https openweathermap.org.api. So this is a website. So whenever you want to access some information from some particular protected information, I am talking from the website, then we need to have a API key from them. So suppose for example, now for example, it's a free, so we have taken this. Otherwise, protected information may not be available. We need a key. Without key, we will not be able to access the information. So here you can see your API key with your actual API key, and here you can have a import package request, and then you can define, for example, here get weather data. You can define the city. Suppose we want to extract the information from suppose Delhi. Then you have to write here city name as a Delhi, and then the authorized key which we got from the concerned authority, that API key we have to write it here. I hope it might be clear to you. Get the weather information, so city and the API key we must know here. And then get weather data for the city using the Open Weather Map API. So it is a triple quote, you can see here, triple quote. This is a triple quote. And then your base URL. So your base URL is given over here. So base URL is, for example, we have taken this particular website to understand, or browser to understand our API authentication or extract or manipulation the data from that particular website. So this URL we have defined over here, and you have defined in Q as a city, and you can define as a feed as a API key or application ID or application key. That's what the variables you have declared over here. And moving to the response, so here one more package in Python, it is required as a response. So response will be raised. Suppose if you are trying to extract the information from the browser, then they have given some code or some number. Suppose you can have an error number like that. There is a response code. Now response code they have given, that's called as a status code. So if you are getting the information, then you'll get the 200. That's what the code is defined as a response code. And if you are not able to access it, or if you are not authorized, then you'll get a code as a 400. So here you can see if response, you will get the return response in the this notation, JavaScript object notation. I think you can understand the JavaScript object notation. You can get the response. So if you are getting the response, then the code is 200. If you are not getting, then you'll get the fail to get the weather data. So if fail to get weather data, so error code, you will get the errors response status and the status code. Status code, as I have given, that the 200 is a standard status code. If you get the response from the browser, then you can have a 200, or else you can have a 400, but it's defined by the authorities. Now similarly, you can have a defined main here, triple quote main function to run the program. So the API key, so you have a API key. So this is our API key. Whenever in any information, if you are trying to browse from some particular web browser, then we should have a API key. So that's what the programming interface key is required. Then you can have a city name. Suppose we are trying to understand the, we are trying to extract the information about the weather information about the Delhi, some protected information about the Delhi. Then you can have a city name over here. And if city name is given, then what we are trying to extract. So we are trying to extract the weather data. So get weather data, you have to get a city name and the API key. And then once we define here, then you'll get the weather data. So you'll get the city name over here, and you'll get the weather information over here. So for example, weather information is, suppose you want a temperature, then you will get here a temperature. Now temperature, it might be degree centigrade, or temperature it might be in Kelvin. Then you can get. Similarly, there is a humidity. So humidity is again another information we know. So how much is the atmospheric humidity generally in the average, because different cities humidity is different during the summer season, or different during the winter season. But I hope you even understand what exactly the humidity. So the temperature and humidity data we are trying to access, and for example, which is a protected information, and that information we are trying to access. And if data is available, then data will be presented in front of us. If it is not available, then you can say data is not available. And at the end, you can have a function. That's what the main underscore main function. So you can see here the again uh, this is what the weather information you can have. So the first program we understood the what exactly the first program you have to run is to extract the protected information. So you should get some authenticity by the user ID and the you have to get the user ID and the password. And then second module in that, to access the AI/ML IoT environment, to access the information from the browser, we have taken an example of, suppose, the accessing of the weather information. So here again we will see one example again. Suppose for example, this is a here example. So I hope my your Replit browser might be visible to you. So actually, as I underlined earlier, that we should have some local development environment to do our projects, to access the information. But to the most of the local developed environment, because as our topic changes, different library has taken changes, and some of the library we need to continuously download or update our libraries. Some of the libraries may not be available with our local development environment. So here in the Replit, as I told you earlier, that this compiler will try to auto update the libraries depending upon our the program. But still some of the libraries need you can have to purchase some libraries. Some of the libraries are not free. So in that case, this compiler we may not be able to execute, because some of the libraries are not free. So that's what the, again problem for us. So yeah, just a minute. Yeah, that's what the problem for us. Yeah. So you can see initially here you have to import request, and then as I told you, to get the defined weather city here the data. So base URL, as I told you earlier, the base URL HTTP API openweathermap.org data 2.5 weather. So this is a particular website we have, and through the website the data is protected, but this key is available. It's open AI, so the key is available. For example, so here you can define the city and the corresponding APIC. So particular city weather information we will be able to extract. And as I told you, the response status code. So if information is available, then the response code will declared as a 200, or some if any error is there. If information is not available, then response code might be 400. So then you can else print the weather data error code. So error, it might be 400 you may get. And here you can define main function run, and here API key, yours API, and enter the city. So the API must be available to us, otherwise we will not be able to access the information. And moving to the weather data, so you can get the weather data and city name and corresponding API. And then as I underlined earlier, that here the with weather data you can print weather city name, and you can have a weather data and the temperature and the humidity, and then you can get it print with the weather data. Now with this, suppose for example, we'll run it here again. For example, just I will clear it. Yeah, I will clear it here. Again, I will clear it here. Yeah, and I will just run it here. Yeah. Now you can see the corresponding library is not there. So poetry, the poetry and the request library is getting added, and updating dependencies. You can see it here. So all the libraries required to execute that program, the libraries are updated automatically with the Replit environment. And now here you can see enter the city name. Suppose I will say Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a city name, and you can see here the failed to get the weather data because error code we got is a 401. Weather data is not available. So for Hyderabad, the weather data is not available. So for example, again we will say run and enter the city name. We will say suppose New York. Suppose we will give a city name as a New York, and you can see the failed to get the weather data because the we are not having the corresponding API key to access the information from that. So this is again the another model which we have seen today. Uh, Participants are requested to the quiz to weekly quiz will be there. So quiz will be released shortly, and you need to write the quizzes, and you have to write your proper name for the certification to get the certification from IETE. So for that purpose, you can extract the information from the recorded the stream videos are also there. That link will be shared. So there you can try later again. But as of now, this is a program. This I will give you in the text format. So earlier is one of the program I have given in the text format, and this is again another. I will give you the text so that you can execute it. New, and this is reach, and this is a weather API. Yeah. Those who are attending regularly and they are trying to understand, so they may get, because some may miss the classes, so they may not be able to understand little. But here weather API is there. Just I will put it at weather API over here. Yeah, AI&ML, and just I will put it here weather API. So the document and the weather API. So you can execute this the text code which I have given with your compiler, and those who are able to execute, they can say yes to me, so that we'll try to close our session shortly. So 5 minutes are there, 2-3 minutes. So everyone has to open your Replit compiler, and you can check. In the last example we have seen that how to understand the authenticity for our API, and this example we are trying to see how to manipulate the data and how to extract the protected data from the browser, because our IoT devices are connected to the browser via internet, and our IoT devices or our robots or our machines need data to access. So this is what the text I have given in the WhatsApp group right now. Yeah, so you can execute that. I have given, you can execute that, and if you executed this, then you can put it in the chat box that you have executed or you got the output. Okay, I will give 2-3 minutes of time. Quickly you can download the text code from the WhatsApp group, and you can put it in your Replit browser, and you can execute it. So those who have completed, they can say yes. Yeah, do it fast. Yeah, do it fast. Yeah, Kalfana has seen. Others 2-3 members has seen. Yeah. Please get the text file from the WhatsApp group, and from that text file you can put it in the your browser. So do it fast. So those who have completed the execution, they can say yes. everyone need to get it. Yeah, Pratik, Sai got the execution. Pratik got it execution. Yeah. Only 2 members. You can get a text file which I have given, and everyone should get it execute this text file. I think Abhinav, are you there? Abhinav, are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah, Pratik got, Sai got. Yeah, you have to execute this. Anyone else? Those who are in the meeting, they should get it and execute in the Replit browser. Yes. Tuas is saying yes. Yeah, do it fast as time is just we will close it right now. So it is expected that you have to do. So it is a continuous process because AI/ML it's again a hybrid kind of thing. We need to understand a lot of technologies over here. We need to understand a lot of processes over here. Yeah, very good. Kalpana got 401 error. Yeah, very good. So because we are not having a authorized key from the concerned browser. So if you get the authorized key from the concerned browser, then you'll get the information. If you are not getting, then you'll get the 401 error. So in order to execute this, we need a key for that. So with that discussion, we will stop it here. But if you have any here queries, it might be general queries till now, or it might be queries for this particular session. Today's session, you can put it in the browser. Krishna, Sai, is it possible to unmute their microphone?
Yes, sir. I will unmute their microphone.
Yeah. So your you can unmute the microphone. If you want to say something, you can say right now. If you have any queries, you can say the queries.
Yes, sir. Participants can access their microphones.
Yeah. Anup has joined now. Yeah. Participant can unmute your microphone and you can speak if you want to ask some queries about it. So today we have had a very healthy discussion or interaction. As the first slot, the Dr. Bhatia ma'am, she come up with real-time projects for IoTs, how it is to be connected. And in the second slot, we have seen that how the IoT environment, how you can browse our browser and how the authenticity is being managed. So if you want to say something, you can say. If you have a queries, you can put it query over here. You can raise your queries if you have any queries. So most probably today we'll release the quiz too. You need to attempt all the quizzes to get the certification. Yeah. Anyone? Yeah, yeah. Mail ID I'll give. Yeah. Mail ID I'll give. You can put it where is there. Yeah, our working is Monday to Friday. So directly we'll meet on Monday. So Monday we'll have a session and again 15th August again we'll have a break. Don't worry. So tomorrow there is no any session. We will have a quiz today. We'll send quiz today. We'll send. Yeah. If you have any queries, it might be some general queries also. You can put it on this mail. Just I'll put it here mail. So quiz late night we'll put it in the group. Okay. I hope everyone is able to access the group. Yeah. Yes, Pratik. Yeah, mail ID. Yeah, your yes, unmute and speak. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, quiz will send on the WhatsApp group and also on your mail IDs will send. Mail ID will be and WhatsApp group also. Yeah, that quiz will send. Those who are not completed the quiz one, they should complete the quiz one. And yeah, this email ID and the number WhatsApp, whether it is not there or not, we'll check it. We'll verify it. Don't worry. Uh, okay. Say it is requested to check this number and mail ID in your WhatsApp group as well as.
Yes, sir. Or otherwise, I will just put the group WhatsApp group chat invite in the chat
Yeah,
box.
yeah. Put it group WhatsApp group chat invite. You put it here.
Yes, sir. People can
So you can join that WhatsApp group, and also to write the quiz, you can join with the Birds channel where the all session recordings are there. You can refer it later also. Yeah, you can join in that WhatsApp group. You put it WhatsApp group here where those who are not joined here they can join and uh, attempt.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah,
I put the WhatsApp group invite. All the participants can join there.
yeah. Pratik, you can join there. And so you can put the videos available, that live stream link also you can put it here.
Yes,
So, so participants are requested to go through the videos, the YouTube, the stream is there, and the quiz link will be posted late night today on the WhatsApp group. So the quiz too. So we have to attempt the weekly quizzes. So it will be easy to for processes the data and to deliver your certificate as fast as possible. And that certification is from IETE body, and that certification is respected in the job promotions, as you might are aware of that, as per the ICT also the job promotions, and those who are not having they can use in the industry. So you'll get the certification from IETE, so you can enter your name correctly. So the writing quiz is compulsory to get the certification from the IETE. So for reference, you can refer the videos from the live stream. Any other queries? You can put it here. You can unmute yourself and you can put your queries. I hope everything is cleared, and now we'll stop it here then. Uh, okay, so you can go ahead. You can just
yes,
stop
sir.
the meeting then. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So once again, the stream links and the WhatsApp joining group link will be sent on the WhatsApp, and the quiz test will also be sent on the WhatsApp. So make sure you attempt the test. And tomorrow will be a holiday. We will meet on Monday. So, sir, should we end the session?
So Monday to Friday will be there, and 15th August will be again a holiday one day. But
Yes.
Monday to Friday will be till 31st. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So should we end the session?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much, all the participants, for joining. We will meet in the next session.